but still being a dreamer kind of like restricts me from it's kind of ironic, it restricts me from dreaming.
I want the children that are growing up in the United States to be dreamers also. They're not dreaming right now.
When someone's coming here, more times than not, they're coming because they're trying to get a better situation.
I get a phone call, and my sister told me that they got him. And I said, what do you mean they got him?
Day one, we end a border policy which allows federal agents to snatch babies from the arms of their mothers.
What they want is to turn the United States of America into the United Socialist States of America.
When I heard about America, for me it was like paradise. It was a place where there was no pain, there was no problem, there was no issues.
The beautiful coloring of our country that is happening at a faster pace is creating fear.
USA! USA! USA!
This man who struck these two women, he was deported 8 times.
These incredible women who lost their daughters and their sons.
That's unfair to say someone's a racist because they take a position.
Life is so hard in Haiti or in the country that they had before, they'll take the risk of getting caught. Like, it's almost like all or nothing.
All the data that I've seen indicates that crime is higher in a sanctuary city than in a non-sanctuary city.
There's rules, there's regulations, there's laws.
Like at the end of the day, you know, I'm just like you.
I am you.
I am you.
In the end, we remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends. Welcome back to another episode of The Conversation. We are rocking and rolling all day. We have candidates coming. You know, it really takes a lot of guts to put your name on the ballot. It really does. So I really want to respect everyone who does that. It's a lot of hard work, a lot of time, a lot of sacrifice. So, you know, first and foremost, thank you for doing that. Here joined Ward 3 School Committee candidate Matt Stanton. Matt, first and foremost, thanks for coming on.
Thank you. Like you said, it's a lot of hard work. It's a lot of, you know, for me as a first timer, it's a lot of research, a lot of getting to know things, because, you know, I've been thinking about this for a while, and I didn't want to do it if I didn't think I could put, you know, 1,000% of me into the position, you know, on school committee. You know, it's funny, you know, Ward 3 holds a special place in my heart. I'm a Kennedy kid. My wife is as well. Kennedy kid, you know, grew up right over on the Hillberg Ave, so you know, that's where my 2 parents. streets away. Yep, my parents are still over there, so it holds a special place in my heart. So first and foremost, people who don't know you, you know, talk about kind of what you do for work and your experience and why'd you want to run. Awesome. Like we said, my name is Matthew Stanton. Ward 3 School Committee I'm running for. I'm a North Side kid. I'm Ward 7, growing up. All my life in Brockton. You know, went to Catholic schools growing up, St. Edward's and Cardinal Spellman. I went into business management. I worked for the Boston Globe for years. Cool. And while I was working at the Globe, my wife at the time got a part-time job at an after-school program in a local town. And my schedule was early morning, so I'd be home in the afternoon. And she called me one day. And she said, hey, they're having a talent show here today. She said, and they're looking for somebody to videotape it. She said, you know, do you mind? I said, no problem. You know, I'll be over. So I went over there, and, you know, it was the best 2 hours I had in ages. The kids were having a great time. They were talented. They were all doing their own thing. So creative. It was so great. And I met the staff. I, you know, met the people, the kids, saw some parents. And a couple weeks later, she says to me, hey, they want to know if you want a job. I said, you know, I have a job. Yeah. Well, you know, your schedule's okay. You could, you know, I said, well, doing what? And she said, gym teacher, you know, stand-in gym teacher or something. I said, you know, at the time I wasn't this big, but I said, yeah, I said, I'd love it. I said, that'd be great. So I did that. And after about 6 months, it was a non-for-profit organization running it. The board of directors liked my business background, the way I interacted with the kids and the parents, and asked me if I would think about taking over the coordinator role, running the place. And, you know, I was shocked. I'm going, well, geez, you know, do I have the time? Again, do I have the time to do it? Do I have, you know, because if I'm going to do it, I want to put everything into it.
Right.
So I did. And I put everything into it. Within 3 months, we had almost doubled the enrollment. We started offering more diverse things to do for the kids. It was a curriculum. I turned it into a real curriculum-based after-school program. You know, we had an arts program, music, a homework club where the kids had to actually sign paperwork with their parents to say that they were enrolled in the homework club, and when they got there after school, they had to spend at least, you know, a certain amount of time doing homework. So that really got me into, you know, the education side. It was so much fun being around the kids. They were having a great time. And the communication part was really important. The communication with the kids, with their parents. You know, I was getting these kids as they were coming out of school. You know, for some of those kids, that 6 hours in school is a safe space. You know, it's the safest time of their day, so in some cases.
Well, so school committee, what got you into maybe, you know, I got to go to the school committee and implement policy? You know, because you're working with the kids. Yes. It's different on that level with policy.
And definitely, definitely. My wife and I do not have children as of yet, but 11 years ago, my former wife and her husband had a child, and they asked us if we would be involved in his life. And we have been for the last 11 years. He's a student. He was a student at the Mandela George Global School. He was in the two-way program. It was fantastic. And I picked him up on that day in March when COVID, you know, was really hitting and they shut down the schools. And he didn't go back until, I think he went back the last 3 days of school that they were in this past year, or this year. And the online thing for me was really a sticking point. 2 weeks into the online model, I was calling his teachers in tears, saying, you know, what am I doing wrong? I feel like I'm failing him. And, you know, I was reassured that I wasn't. And, you know, Brockton Schools did the best possible thing they could do. You know, every kid got a computer. But I think there's now, with the Chapter 70 funding coming in, the Student Opportunity Act, all that money coming in, over $20 million. Money doesn't solve every problem. And I don't think we should be spending it willy-nilly, you know, oh, hey, we got tons of money, we can fix everything. I think we need to start kind of slowly and, you know, bringing teachers back, bringing the paraprofessionals in, the MTAs, all of those. So
let me ask you a question. So Student Opportunity Act, you did mention it. So what are some things that you'd make a priority? It is an exciting time that kids look like they're coming back close to full-time this year with the Student Opportunity Act. So it looks like there might be a little room in the budget to do some creative things. What are some things you'd like to see done in the school, within the school committee to implement to the school department?
That's a great question. And, you know, like I said, with the money and spending and everything, everybody thinks, or a lot of people think, money can solve problems. It's not all about that, especially with the kids coming back this year. Like I said it the other day at the forum. That fourth grader that I picked up that day is now going into sixth grade, and I can't honestly look at you and say that he is sixth grade ready. And my concern is for the 17,000 kids in Brockton Public Schools that could be in the same situation. So we need to look, when they first come back, we need to look at where they're at. So I think some of that money should be spent, you know, in the classrooms, assessing, you know, where the kids are at. And you know, maybe directing them to certain programs that are there to help. They hired, you know, guidance counselors, adjustment counselors, stuff like that. So I think to begin with, that money, hiring, you know, those assets for the school department is great, because we really need to look at where the kids are coming back. And once we get that assessment, I think then is the time to really look at, okay, now we know where they are and what their needs are, and go from there. Because it's, you know, we're adults. We can do things. We can, you know, we can put something in and that's going to save it. No, we have to have communication between the parents, the community, the kids. See where they will best flourish.
What separates you from your opponent in terms of what qualifies you? I mean, in terms of experience with dealing with policy, budgets, what have you, kids, like you said before. What qualifies you?
Running the after-school program, I worked with budgets. I worked for 2 after-school programs. One was non-for-profit. The other one was in a school system. So as the coordinator, I was a line item on a budget. And I had, certain amount of money that I could spend, staff, stuff like that. So I am very aware of that. The business side at the Globe, it was all about numbers, all about numbers. That's what it is. But I'm not going to say that anything separates me from the other candidates, because I met Anna Oliver at the forum the other day. I actually walking around neighborhoods. I've been walking around neighborhoods talking to hundreds of people, and everybody, the community is so great. And I met Jared Homer, who is also running. Both phenomenal people.
Right.
And I think they're in it for the right reason, which is the community and the kids. So I can't say, I'm not going to stand here and say that, or sit here and say that, anything, I'm more qualified about. They're great people. And talking to the 2 of them, I haven't spoken to the other gentleman, but I assume he's in it for the same reason as well, which is for the children. And I want to say one thing that is really important as we're coming back into the school. Parents need to communicate with their teachers. Get their phone number, get their email, communicate with them. Because I've seen that sometimes if a kid, is missing out on something and it's, he's maybe sliding a little, too much time goes by. And the problem is now, instead of catching it, when it could have been caught 3 weeks earlier, you're now a month into it, and it kind of goes from there.
I understand. What are some new initiatives that you would like to maybe spark plug, or some ones that you like already that you want to expand?
I'll tell you, one thing that I would really love to see is, like I said, walking around the community, everybody is for education. This is one of the reasons I chose school committee, is because people aren't divisive about kids.
Right, exactly,
everybody loves kids and food.
Yeah.
So one thing I would really love, like I've seen a couple of advertisements for the Greek Food Festival. I would love to see, like, Brockton is so diverse. I live on Tribou Street, and neighbors across the street, Haitian, Cape Verdean, and we all, it's a community. We literally, I took somebody's garbage cans in this morning, and we do that for people, and I'm finding that everywhere. Brockton gets a bad rap sometimes, and the community, it's really a great community. I would like to see us, as far as in the school division, school department, have some kind of, cultural festival all at once. Not just a Greek food festival, but, Haitian, Cape Verdean, so it brings everybody in the communities together. So like when you have the Greek food festival, many different people go to it, but it's run, a lot of the local Greek people flock to it, because like now Christos is gone, or something like that. But a day where, we could have 20 different food vendors from all over and get a taste of all the different cultures in the city. I think that would bring parents, kids, bring the community in general out, and we can all learn. We can all learn from each other.
Are there any programs already now that you kind of want to expand that you're a big fan of?
Yes, I'm a big fan of the TAG program, and like the AP classes. And right now TAG is only in, I believe it's the Angelo for 4th and 5th grades. And oh god, I have it written down somewhere.
Well, you want to expand the TAG program?
I would like to see that I would like to see some form of that in pretty much all the schools. Mm-hmm. I've had a different experience as far as my student. He was at the George in the 2A program, so I've kind of had a different experience than your regular, elementary school kid. Right. But I would like, Brockton has so many programs to offer, and I think we need to promote it. We need to promote everything, and not only on the website. I'd love to see like posters in Shaw's, Vincente's, places where people go in the community. If they see, like this year we had, 29 or 30 after school programs, and there were 4,300 kids in it this year. Some people miss out on those things because they don't go on the website, or they don't hear about it until after enrollment has stopped or something like that. I would love to see us, posters in Vincente's, Shaw's, the local markets, stuff like that. I would really love to see something like that. Just the more communication we have all together, the better educated we are, and the better education our children are going to get.
Well, could definitely feel your passion about students, and I'm a teacher too, so it's personal. So I love being able to work with the kids. It really
I see your things doing
keeps
that,
you young.
and I love seeing you working with the kids, because so many kids have so many different interests, and that's the other thing I wanted to say. Working with the after school part of it, I realized there's a way to reach every kid. And, some are easy, some it's, a smile, some it's talking, about baseball or whatever. There's a way to reach every kid. It's just how far we're willing to go to reach them. And we need to go as far as possible.
Absolutely. I love what Brock and I is doing in terms of expanding the vocational program.
Yes.
Learning different ways. So
definitely.
That's something would you like to really expand as well?
Yep. I definitely, because I see that the world's going that way.
Right.
You see kids get riddled with student debt. Going out, and I'm not knocking college and saying don't be a lawyer, don't be a doctor. But vocation is very important.
Listen, Juan, thank you for coming on. Any final things you want to say to your viewers, and why should they support you for school committee?
To the community, please. My door is always open, 160 Traboo Street. You can call me, 508-513-5764. Any issues you have or anything you want to talk about as far as your kids' education goes, my door is always open. Come by, knock, if I haven't knocked on your door. And the other thing, get involved. Know who your kids' teachers, know the executive administrator. When you first walk in that door, know who the people in your kids' schools are, because they're all there to help you. Every one of them, in some capacity or another.
Thank you so much. Wish you the best.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.